NFL Week 15, Game 1 of the Saturday triple header, Vikings-Bengals. This look-ahead line had Minnesota minus 1.5-point favorites, and it opened Cincy minus 4, which is a huge adjustment. It's come back a little since the opener of Cincy minus 4 to now minus 3, but it's still a 4.5-point adjustment from the look-ahead line. I think this line move is the result of a few different factors. First, it's just the market correcting itself on the Bengals. They had them rated much worse than they've been playing since the Burrow injury. Now that Jake Browning has shown he's a capable backup, the Bengals are getting more respect. Also playing a factor in all this is the offensive struggles for the Vikings and their injuries. Minnesota really banged up several offensive linemen on the injury report. Their right tackle, Brian O'Neill, who is their best offensive lineman, is out. Running back Alexander Madison is hurt, and Justin Jefferson, if he doesn't play, you now have a situation with a new quarterback in Nick Mullins who isn't mobile behind an O-line that's weakened with a limited run game and potentially without your number one wide receiver. This has all helped flip this line from Vikings as favorites to now field goal underdogs. Vikings have decided to go with Nick Mullins at quarterback. The Josh Dobbs story has come to an end. He faked being an NFL starter for as long as he could, but it's only so long you can get by running around, playing out of structure. It's a great story, gave the media something to talk about for a few weeks, but it's over now. Nick Mullins now takes over, and I think he's a slight upgrade from Dobbs. Mullins at least has starting quarterback elements about his game. He doesn't get to the top of his drop and just take off running if the first read isn't open, or just immediately check down to Dobbs like Dobbs did. Mullins can hang in the pocket and go through progressions. Vikings have enough talent on offense that really all they need is a game manager at QB that won't turn it over. Also, Minnesota's playbook is much better suited for Mullins. Vikings head coach O'Connell never made changes to the playbook when Dobbs was a starter because he didn't want to make massive changes to his own playbook. O'Connell wasn't designing runs or anything to fit Dobbs' strengths. Mullins isn't going to be Kirk Cousins or anything, but he is a much better fit for this system. Now, on the other side for the Bengals, Jake Browning has looked good, and I'm not surprised, really. The Bengals were the Super Bowl favorites in the preseason, and of course, Burrow had a lot to do with that, but the Bengals are also loaded with weapons on offense, and Jake Browning doesn't have to be Joe Burrow in order for the Bengals to win or have success, and I'll explain why. If you look at this chart to the left, is EPA per play since week 10. EPA is expected points added per play, and just like it sounds, it's a metric that tells you if a play helped your team to score points, hence points added. Now, Browning is third in EPA per play, right below Purdy and Dak, the top two MVP candidates. But if we look at the bottom scale on the scatter plot chart, it has average intended air yards, which is exactly how it sounds, how far you're throwing on average to your intended target. Browning has by far the lowest intended air yards. So what does all this mean? Well, Browning's throwing it short, dink and dunks, but it's resulting in big yards. Bengals have a lot of good skill position players that Browning's throwing to quickly in the screen game or just quick hitters, and it's resulting in big positive plays. Short, easy throws is exactly what you want to do with a young, inexperienced quarterback. But also, if we look at this matchup here, what do screens and short passes work best against? Blitzes. Minnesota has by far the highest blitz rate in the league. I think Cincy will have success moving the ball. Minnesota defensive coordinator Brian Flores has this Vikings defense clicking. And versus certain quarterbacks, he's able to put together very solid game plans that seem to, have younger, inexperienced quarterbacks baffled. We just saw Aiden O'Connell get completely shut down. It would make sense that Flores and this Vikings defense could do the same to Jake Browning, but because of the style and matchup, I'm not so sure. This is a tough one to bet on. Normally, when in doubt, I side with the better defense, getting points, which would be the Vikings, but they're just too banged up. I don't trust the Cincy defense all that much either. Even though, they are tied for second in the league in turnover differential at plus 10. I'm going to think more on this one, and if I make any plays, it'll be posted in the Betting Network Discord community. Invite link to join is in my bio. That's all I got for this one. Until next time, good luck with your bets.